Hello, Patriots!
Hello, Patriots and Ons and digital soldiers.
This is Carrie.
This is Joel.
And we are the Quiet Boys.
Of truth.
All right.
Carrie had to think about who she was there for a second.
Shut up. It's been that kind of day, all right? All right. Welcome to all of our new subscribers. You guys are awesome.
Man, you guys rock.
In our last show that we just put out, we made a goal of 217.
Yeah.
And we're already at 218 right now. So
if you watch that video, it sounds kind of dorky.
Yeah, it sounds kind of ridiculous, but you guys are just awesome. So thank you. So our new goal is actually 245.
245. All right. And if you are new to our channel, welcome aboard. And please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and toggle that little notification bell. If you like us. If you like us.
Only if you like us. Only then.
Right.
All right, guys. Things are still crazy out there in our world. So hopefully everybody's staying safe and taking care of your loved ones. We've got a few things we want to talk about today. As always, there is lots to talk about. We kind of narrowed it down to just a few that we're going to be covering. So the first one, you might have seen this article. So the Supreme Court unanimously upholds faithless elector laws. Now, some of you probably know what faithless elector means, and some of you might not. So I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit of this article to kind of give you an idea of what this case is all about.
Carrie's going to break it down for us.
I'm going to try. The Supreme Court unanimously affirmed the constitutionality of faithless elector laws that allow states to fine or remove electoral college members who fail to vote for the presidential candidate they were pledged to support. While some states have laws that punish such electors for not voting for the candidate to which they pledge support, there have long been legal questions about the enforceability of such laws. The ruling in two separate appeals came July 6th as the next presidential election approaches on November 3rd. Okay, so before we go any further with this one, guys, I found another article. Now, I'm pretty sure that most of you listening to this know all about the Electoral College and why that was designed and what that is. However, there might be some of you who don't really know what that is. You might know there's an electoral college, you've heard about it, you've heard people complaining about it, but you maybe aren't quite sure what that is. So I thought we would take a little bit of time in this episode just to kind of go over what the Electoral College was designed for and what that has to do with this Supreme Court decision. Okay, so this is the website for the Encyclopedia Britannica, and this article is entitled, "How Does the Electoral College Work?" So we have a map here that gives us a breakdown of the number of electoral college votes that each state is given. Most of us probably know that each state has 2 senators, and then the number of representatives varies depending on the population of the state. So the total number of representatives for a state is going to include the number of representatives that the state has, as well as the 2 senators from each state.
Okay.
This is so interesting, guys, that more of us don't know this. I'm just wondering what is wrong with our public education system that, I really feel that people were not taught how the Electoral College works. So this is just very...
Well, this was part of that communist agenda to dumb down the population. So we have no idea what rights we do and do not have till ultimately we will have none.
I feel like that is what it's about, because I remember while I was in college, a lot of my friends and I, we would sit around and just talk about how messed up the government was and how the Electoral College was total BS and didn't make any sense and our vote didn't matter. Yeah. It was all to make us apathetic. And it worked, because we weren't taught the truth of how this works and why it was created. It just made us apathetic. We just didn't give a crap. We said the whole system is screwed up. It's designed for failure. We have no say. We really don't have a voice. And so we didn't care.
Look how many California has.
California has a lot.
55.
But I want to show you something. Somebody made a really good point that I want to show you real quick. Okay, so this comment comes from Hugh Blanchard. This was from July 8th, 2020. And this is from the Epic Times, and his comment says, the only reasons that most of the smaller states agreed to ratify the Constitution in 1787 were 1, the construction of the U.S. Senate, in which every state would have 2 senators, and 2, the Electoral College, which made every state's vote count important. Construction of a direct popular vote system to elect the presidency would mean that the parasitic coastal megacities and states on the east and west coasts would always decide the presidency. Everyone else thereafter would well and truly live in flyover country. In such a distorted world, California and New York, both prominent members in the demo-socialist welfare empire, would pick the president. No, thank you.
Yeah, no
right?
thanks.
So that, I mean, I love how he stated that, because a lot of people don't realize that if it were just a popular vote, we'd be screwed, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
we
because
really
it would just be
wouldn't have a voice
based
then.
on those huge states like California and New York. Like, it would be crazy. So the Electoral College is actually a good thing, and anyone who says that it's not is probably a socialist. Or
But it's funny
communist.
that how they want to get rid of it now just because it was because the Electoral College
is
elected
how
Trump.
won.
And now they're like, oh, get rid of it because he'll win again. Like, anything that will help Trump win, watch him. They want to see it burn to the ground and be absolutely eradicated from the face of the planet.
Exactly. But, okay, so that's interesting that you said that, because I've got one more article, and this guy really explains it very well to help all of us who were not taught this properly in high school or beyond. So it'll help us to kind of think through this and give us a little more information on why we need the Electoral College. Okay, so this article is by Brian Fisher at renewamerica.com. I think that this article right here is very well written, and it does explain how the Electoral College is supposed to work. So the first paragraph, he's talking about the Faithless electors, so that's basically the Supreme Court case that was just decided. So he's saying the case is about whether states are permitted to have laws against electors who pledge to vote for somebody and then vote for somebody else. So he says, in order to answer that constitutional question, we first must understand how the Electoral College is supposed to work in the first place. Most Americans don't have clue one. The electoral process, designed by the founders, reflects the fundamental character of America's republican form of government, in which the vast majority of decisions are not made directly by the people, but rather by the people we have chosen to make these decisions for us. America is a republic, not a democracy. Okay, so here's what we were just talking about. Donald Trump is president because he won the Electoral College by trouncing Hillary Clinton 304 to 227. At the same time, Trump lost the popular vote by 2.8 million votes. Hillary received almost 65.8 million votes to Trump's 63 million. This, of course, has led to screeching from the left that Hillary was robbed and that any system which would deprive the winner of the popular vote of an election victory must be a fundamentally unfair system.
But it was my turn!
But here's something that many Americans do not understand because of the abject failure of our education system and what we used to quaintly call social studies. What students should be taught is the founders set up our system for choosing a president by putting the responsibility to pick a president in the hands of the states, not individual voters. Each state, based on its representation in Congress, is allotted a certain number of electoral votes. Larger states get more electoral votes. Smaller states get fewer. So California gets 55, while Vermont gets just 3. Each state's total represents the sum total of its senators and representatives. Vermont, for instance, has 2 senators and 1 representative, while California has 2 senators and 53 representatives.
Jeez. Wow. Coastal states are important, huh?
They are. They are very important, yeah. So California has 55 votes it can spend on a presidential election, and Vermont has 3. When voters go to the polls on the first Tuesday in November in a presidential election year, they technically are not choosing a president. What they are doing instead is choosing electors. That is, they are picking the people who will elect the president on their behalf. Voters don't elect the president. Electors, chosen by the voters, do. So we pick the people who pick a president for us. It's very interesting. I don't think that most people realize that.
Right.
Many state ballots still reflect this, as somewhere on the ballot you will see the names of the electors for whom you are actually voting. Again, we must remember that we are not voting for a president in November. We are voting for the people, electors, who will pick a president in our place. The founders deliberately set up a system in which states, not voters at large, choose the president. The founders knew if every election was decided simply by the popular vote, the larger states such as California and New York would determine the outcome of every election until the end of time. Smaller states would get hosed. They considered that to be fundamentally unfair, and they were right. As a case in point, Hillary defeated Trump by 4 million votes in California alone, which means her entire popular vote victory in 2016 was due to voters in just one state. Mm-hmm. And we know exactly why that happened.
Yes, we
do.
Deep state.
Yeah, so, okay. Now, this is the part I find interesting. We have so cobbed up the electoral process that most states don't even list the names of the electors, the people we are actually voting for, on the ballot. Some states may list their names in little tiny print under the name of the president they have promised to vote for, but nobody pays those names any attention. In reality, the only names on the ballot should be those of the electors. The names of self-declared presidential candidates shouldn't be anywhere in sight. Now, that's interesting. Have you, when you've voted for president in past elections, Joel, have you ever thought to yourself, like, I'm not actually voting for this president, I'm voting for an elector? Are those names on there for us to see?
No.
I don't think so.
I mean, when you're voting in, like, primaries and stuff, I mean, you're voting for who's going to be voting for you. You know, so I mean, those are very important.
Right, so let's skip down a little bit. I know this is really long, guys, but it's important. It's especially important right now because they're trying to do away with the Electoral College.
Like midterms and stuff.
Right. Okay, some people think it's not fair that Hillary could be declared the loser, even though she got more votes than the winner. But this is the wrong formulation. The truth is that Trump got a majority of the votes that actually counted. The votes of Hillary's supporters on November 8th did not count for Hillary. They only counted for the office of Elector. The 538 electors chosen by the people then met in December and cast the only votes for president that actually counted. Now this is where it gets tricky, guys. It says electors almost always vote for the candidate who got the most votes in their state, on the grounds that they are there to represent the citizens of their states. But constitutionally, they don't have to vote that way. They can vote for whomever they want because they have the freedom to vote their conscience just as we all do. So this is the whole question, that paragraph right there. This is what they just voted in the Senate regarding. Mm-hmm. So I'm just curious what you guys think about that. Do you think that the people that we are voting for, who are supposed to vote for the person who got the popular vote in that state, should they have to vote for that person? Or are they allowed to vote for whoever they want? Okay, so this article goes on to talk about the Chivalo case as well as Colorado Department of State versus Baca. However, I will just leave this. I know I've been talking for a long time about this, guys. I'm just really curious what you guys think about this. If you think that the electors should have to vote based on the popular vote of the state that they represent, or if you think that they should be allowed to vote based on their own conscience and discretion. It's a really interesting topic. Hopefully you at least found something valuable about the Electoral College and what that's all about, and I'm kind of curious about your thoughts about that as well. What do you think about the Electoral College? Do you think that it's necessary, or do you hate it? All right, and how about we bring in some humor? I think Joel's got something in the works for us.
Okay, this tweet was sent out by In the Matrix. Thanks, Brother Patriot. This made me laugh very hard.
Told you Joel had something funny for us.
Well, you can read it, but it's hilarious to just listen to.
Nobody can dispute the fact that we need... Oh, yeah? Nobody can...
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah? Okay. That was a great comeback. He's super witty in his old age. Alright, so up next we have everybody's fake scientist, Bill Nye, not a scientist.
Yeah, his name's not Bill Nist, the scientist. Yeah, it's Bill Nye, the science guy. He's a guy.
They call him the science guy because he's not a scientist. Alright, so, yeah, let's take a listen to this goober.
Greetings everyone, Bill Nye here. Why do people in the scientific community want you to wear a face mask when you're out in public? Well, please consider the following. Face masks like this one prevent particles from my respiratory system from getting into the air and then into your respiratory system. Blocking the movement of air is an old trick. Here's a scarf. It blocks the movement of air around my throat, helps keep me warm. This scarf won awards in the Washington State Fair for both design and
this guy
workmanship.
is,
It can block the movement of air.
He's definitely a deep state puppet, guys. But,
Which is actually sad because I used to love this guy. I mean, when I was little, and of course didn't know any better, you know? So it kind of sucked to realize that he's a deep state turd.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna fix Bill Nye's mask problem right now. And you're welcome. Alright guys, so this next tweet came from Savannah Savage. She says, I can't even. People buying this bullshitaki are dumb as fuck. I'm sorry, but how stupid is this gonna get before the Dem wake up? Yeah, so this was, looks like came from TikTok, Matt Convard. Yeah, you guys gotta listen to this. This is hilarious.
So the Washington Post is saying that anything named after George Washington is perpetrating racial terror. Let me repeat that. The Washington Post, the Washington Post is saying that anything named after George Washington is perpetrating racial terror. You can't make this stuff up.
No, you can't.
Very true. So Washington Post, why don't you go ahead and change your name to Toilet Tissue Post? Alright guys, this next tweet comes from the New York Post, and they're talking about Ghislaine Maxwell's bed sheets and clothes taken by feds to prevent suicide. Well, duh, because if this happens again, how many more people will wake up and be like, wait a minute, what? Now we know Epstein didn't kill himself. But if she does too, I'm sure that they got her in a smock or something. But, yeah, hashtag Ghislaine didn't kill herself, guys. Ghislaine Maxwell did not kill herself. Just so you know, I mean...
No, I don't think that's going to happen this time. For some reason, like, I feel like it's going to go down a little bit differently.
Alright guys, so up next we got a little video here from the Communist News Network, the Chinese News Network, the Clinton News Network, whatever you want to call it.
CNN.
Yeah, that bleh.
The used to be reputable news network. Way back in the day.
I'm starting to wonder about even that.
Yeah, maybe not
Anyway.
even then, but now it's just obvious.
Yeah.
More obvious.
But you know what? God bless this sheriff.
I
You gotta
like
listen
this
to what he has
sheriff.
to say.
I like this guy. He's not gonna be the mask police.
Sheriff, explain this to us. You say it's not your job to enforce the mask order.
Yes, basically. Our ICUs are less than 10%. They're not full. We're not overrun. People are getting tested. They're going home. And it's an order that came down. It goes up, it goes down. And I'm not going to be the mask police. I'm telling people, don't call 911.
Right
All
on.
the police have been decimated
Good
as
for this
far as
guy.
being laid off, having their budgets cut. The hospitals are less staff. And it changes as we watch TV. And I am not going to enforce the mask wearing. We tell people, if you want to call the governor's office or call the health department, and they can put a little yellow light on their car and they can stop people for it. I'm not going to do it.
Good for you,
They can
man.
put a little yellow light on their car and stop people for
I
it.
love this guy. You know, I was out today in public, and in the area where we live, it's mandated, state mandated, for all employees in every business to wear masks.
I don't do it.
I was just thinking to myself, if we all just stood up against this and we all said no, we refuse to wear masks, what are they going to do, guys? Are they going to fire all of us?
They're gonna take away your birthday.
Go ahead and take away my social security number. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, if more people were like this sheriff, you know.
All you gotta say is, so what, big deal, you wanna fight about it?
All right, guys, so we just had to end on this because it's just freaking hilarious.
Looks like Groucho Marx, both of them. Yeah, so this was tweeted out by James Woods, and meanwhile, outside Ghislaine Maxwell's cell. Of course.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But Ghislaine Maxwell didn't kill herself.
Exactly. So,
right.
yeah, Patriots Anon's Digital Soldiers, that will do it for this episode. If you're new here, if you're enjoying our content, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, toggle that little notification bell so you're notified when we put out new videos. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, to all our new subscribers, you guys rock. We really appreciated that mass migration we had. That was pretty awesome. We really do appreciate the support.
Awesome. Very cool.
And hope you all enjoyed that triggered Karen in the comments.
Her actual name was Cindy, but whatever. No, she was a Karen.
She's a Karen. Total Karen. She wanted to talk to our manager. Thank you guys for being here. To our subscribers who've been here since the beginning, we really do appreciate you guys. You are so awesome. Thank you so much. I mean, we are a relatively new channel, but we really do appreciate the support.
Definitely.
And until we see you next time, I guess, Patriots Anons and Digital Soldiers, please do not forget, where we go one, we go all.
Have a wonderful evening, Patriots.
Good night, Patriots.